For a look at what the papers may be saying tomorrow, we're now joined by the editor-in-chief of Nigerian Express, Stephen Nwosu. Thank you very much for joining us in the studio.
Good evening, thank you, and may have a Barka de Salah
Barka de
to our
Salah.
Muslim viewers.
Yeah, actually
even
asked
to us
that.
Christians too, we are part of the meat sharing, so Barka de Salah to
Yeah, I had a bit of it earlier. So what's your projection for the week?
Well, it's a holiday. It's a holiday, public holiday, so usually there are not too many stories happening. So expect many of the papers to play on the Salah, the celebrations from across the country and all that. You expect many newspapers to play on that tomorrow, the messages from the president, from the governors and all that. That is one of the stories that will make the papers tomorrow, I'm sure. Then there's also the, the fracas that happen.
I was going to ask you about it.
You expect many newspapers to feast on that. The governor's people say it was an assassination attempt. The senator said it was just some thugs trying to overdo themselves. Somebody came and called him, asked him to move and called him Oko, yeah, that's your mother's concubine or your mother's husband that's come.
So how do you see it playing out? Because you have these different narratives now.
I actually think it's just about political. It's nothing. In the mosque, yes, but I mean, though there are no chairs and all that, but that the marketplace red, that tells you something. But the senator too could have moved because but how did you ask him to move? Was it insulting and all that? But it's all about local politics. It's nothing. I don't think it was about assassination. He could have gotten messy if they didn't whisk the governor away, which was a smart thing to do. But then that's
we're glad that they got it off. But this spinning of events, now it's an assassination attempt.
You expect the papers to at least they will hear from all sides and see, so that will be played. You don't also be shocked if one or two papers speculate on the issue of the recurring issue of the health state of the Ondo State governor. It came up briefly. Some people, in fact, some people declared the worst in the morning. So don't expect things like fears, concerns over Akeredolu's health coming on and all that. Then apart from that, you also expect most papers that have one or two exclusives might decide to play, like my own paper, we decided to play on the issues they're having in the states of all the traps that former governors set for their successors, especially when they are not coming from your same party, something like aggressive takeover. So, but basically you expect every paper to have one or two stories on the economy, security. Some people will also visit we look at what is happening in Sierra Leone, the election results.
Now, before we go there, I wanted to ask you, do you see the issue of the minority leadership of the Senate being another issue? Because I saw a story where Tambuwal...
Tambuwal is being projected. Some people are turning him down, say they don't want him and going to dig up his past of how he betrayed them.
Do you see that story continuing to play?
Because the leadership of the National Assembly is still taking shape, so that will also be played. It might not, depending on what angle each paper gets. We didn't get an angle strong enough to put it on the front, for example. I'm sure one or two persons might get an angle strong enough to play it up that way.
We had in the news the conversation around electricity tariff. To be or not to be?
Well,
what do you see?
Well, many people, like in the area I live, have geared up for the change. But then it's there have been notices, denials that at least stepping back a bit, that it has to go through a process before it's done and all that. Well, it's one of those business stories that newspapers might play on, like the World Bank verdict on the Nigerian economy, that yes, it's tough, it might even get tougher, inflation might even get worse this year than next year, then by 2025 it will start going down. So expect papers to play on that economy, play on the security, depending on where, because we have gotten so used to terrorists attacking here and there. So maybe one or two stories here people will pick up. But basically, it's a fairly free day. It's loaded, but it's a public holiday. So we expect exclusive
when next I have you here, I'm going to try and remember all the projections you made today and see which one came true. Thank you very much for giving us your time.
Nice to be here.